Hey you, welcome back to the library. Wow, it's already the end of 2022. Or in the Living History Project's case, the end of 2002. Probably the most bittersweet of the PlayStation's 9-year lifespan, 2002 was like the last day of school before summer break. Everyone is enjoying their day, people are making last-minute checks that they didn't leave anything in their lockers, and rivalries forged in the fires are now friendly exhibitions. And by everyone, we mean the game releasing to retail. Despite having 2 more years to go before the final curtain call, the class of 2002 clearly was more about watching the graduates moving on to bigger and better things at their new institution, the PlayStation 2. Cornerstone games firmly laid on the foundation hardware would go on to build legacies as few had ever seen before. Trend-setting games that once basked in their solitary achievements now would be flanked by a whole suite of peers, both inspired and directly copied from. That's not to say everyone wants that last day of school to end. Despite the PlayStation 2 reaching an astounding 21 million units sold in North America alone that year, the PlayStation still had a healthy lead of almost 38 million decks sold total. What needs to be read between the lines here is how many people were getting the PlayStation as a hand-me-down from those who went strictly PlayStation 2 in the upgrade. With a potential 10 million consumers still on the docket, companies weren't willing to let go of the PlayStation just yet. Even if it was just to relive those memories through re-releases, it was still an incredible time to rock the 32-bit great monster. With only 64 games released this year, the usual top 10 choices had to be whittled down to a more presentable 7, and even then, it's not really about specific games or even those that made the Dean's List. No, this is strictly about all the fun still to be had. So with that, let's jump into the 7 reasons to still rock a PlayStation in 2002. Number 1. Ark the Lad. Working Design's swan song for the PlayStation was a journey long in the making, but well worth the wait. A metaphorical metric ton of gameplay, freebies, and platters awaited eager role-playing fanatics. Besides 3 full games plus the Arena Monsters game, Ark the Lad creation featured a neat trick Mass Effect fans can appreciate. Each previous game's save could be transferred and converted to the sequel. This rewarded players with carried over experience levels, bonus items, and an unlock or 2. Number 2. A license for everyone. It's no secret that licensed games sell, just ask any poor Dragon Ball fan. In 2002, developers realized that they could ride the previously discussed budget wave into the stocking stuffer heaven. Everything from Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Gundam to Planet of the Apes and Hooters saw their franchise pressed into the shiny black discs. Hell, Digimon World 3 was sold so well despite its late release that it still had time to become a greatest hits. It's insane. At number 3, the $10 Bonanza continues. If there's one thing everyone can agree on, cheap video games are a glorious ride into the fun town. Especially back in 2002. If all you had was a $20 bill, you could guarantee yourself a cheap thrill from the game store and still have enough leftovers for a value meal on the way out of the mall. While the selection was a bit more mixed this time around, eagle-eyed shoppers could choose from a wide berth of decent to great games. Number 4. Family Values Tour. I already covered the children's age group angle in the 2001 review, but third-party partners really took the hand-me-down demographic to heart this year. Tony Hawk 4, Shrek, Harry Potter, and The Land Before Time gave the literal young at hearts plenty of game time on their gray boxes. Gamer moms could be found trouncing the kids in Dance Dance Revolution Konami Mix, or beating their high scores in Super Bubble Pop. It was Sony, though, that truly celebrated with one of the most well-rounded and three-pronged retail assaults yet seen on their platform. Let's start with number 5, Disney's tip of the spear. Between Sony, Take-Two's re-releases, and New Kid Co., Disney was ultimately king of the hill for children's licenses. The extremely young could try their hands at learning with Winnie the Pooh's kindergarten and preschool. Older kids could lose themselves in Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, and Peter Pan. Parents looking to teach their kids new tricks could sit down with Disney's My Kitchen to show how their favorite foods were prepped and made. Quite a few of these games make a guest appearance in our final entry, but first, let's take care of that 6th spot. Number 6. Armchair athletes still rule. 7 years can push most hardware boundaries to their breaking point, but when all you need are some new rosters and a uniform adjustment, saving $30 between the PlayStation 2 version is quite the draft pick. With kids taken care of, dads everywhere could still rock out the newest releases of Madden, Game Day, NASCAR, FIFA Soccer, and more. Sony's refusal to concede to EA Sports in their rivalry meant it was a winning season for everyone involved, but it was Sony's last move that truly brought the value home. Number 7. Collector's editions. Sometimes selling your IP for $10 doesn't come across as value-driven, but more as potentially terrible product. Sony surely felt this way when it came to their heavy hitters and instead had a genius idea. You could slap 3 $10 games together for a $30 collector's edition. Now it looks super sexy on the shelf, both retail and home, and you also get consumers to invest in a legacy. The collector's editions were a brilliant idea from a completely non-PlayStation angle. For one, most of the featured games were perfectly playable on the newer PlayStation 2. This was a great reminder for players that their library carried forward with them. More deviously, it also was a hell of a budget offering compared to the competitors. With the N64 officially bowing out on August 30th, 2002 at Tony Hawk 3, it meant the original Xbox and Nintendo GameCube were the only competitors to the throne. With modern software ranging from $50 to $60, the 3 games for $30 offer was an enticing way to hold over one to the next modern game they could afford. These multi-game packs had a follow-up with the PlayStation 2 era and even found some fame in the PlayStation 3 era, but those are more of a single case full of multi-disc joy. And that's the year in review, guys. I'm not going to lie, despite 2 more years of releases, this really was the swan song for the console in the mainstream life. 2003 would see about the same 60 or so games released, and then 2004 had less than 20. The big names left will be a few sports games and maybe an RPG here and there. With that, 2022 comes to a close. Have an amazing and safe holiday. GameRaveTV will be off till 2023. I wish the best for all of you in the coming year for your family, game purchases, and game conquests. Be safe, stay warm, take care. I'll see you guys next year.